guys, welcome to the channel. Today I just want to kind of run through one of my tracks on my new album, Future Desert. I've been doing kind of tutorial based stuff on Mixer, but thinking YouTube's kind of a good way to kind of condense them into short little clips, if you can't watch the stream or, if the stream's a bit long. So the track I'm going to be looking at is the Wise Man track. I'm using the Koto chords, they're built into Logic. With a lot of my stuff, I do use kind of built-in Logic sounds, as I can't pretty much afford the massive or syn length or anything like that. The Koto chords set the scene and set the mood for the entire track. I already knew what I was going to make because of the synthesizer I used, so I already wanted that kind of like deep house, kind of funky kind of style. And that kind of gave me inspiration because of the sound to go on to the Chinese violin and then onto the kind of like the Asian themes, which we'll get into in a bit. So as you can see, it sounds pretty decent. I didn't have to do too much to it. I did take off the buses. Logic always, with presets, do put a lot of buses and effects on just to help everyone out. Ultrabeat is the synth I always use and go to for drums. It can get quite expensive buying plugins. 909 is a preset. I differ between the 808 and the 909 with a few exceptions here and there. 909, great sounding kit regardless. You don't have to do too much to it. Straight away I take off the reverb buses and then I go onto the EQ and take out 50 Hz. This kind of makes room for the bass. Same goes for the claps and the hats. I'm going to turn the reverbs off with the buses and then I'm going to go straight into the EQ and then take it at about 150 Hz. Again, making space for the kick and the bass further along the line for mixing. And here they all sound together. Nothing too extravagant. It's a basic house 4 to the floor kind of rhythm, and I use this a lot in many tracks I've made over the years. Next up we have the bass. So I'm using the Escape bass, which I made from scratch in the ES2 plugin on Logic. It's mainly based off a square wave with the additional clavinova on the second oscillator. But the basic premise of this is to add high frequencies to a bass so it's kind of hard hitting and stands out a lot more. So the Escape bass has got a high shelf. I've taken out some mids and I've taken out some of the lows as well, just to get rid of that unhearing frequencies that we can't hear. I'm then using the Silververb reverb. So this gives it a little bit of room and makes it sound a bit more wider, as I know the kick has got no reverb on. So with this track I wanted the kick to kind of stand out a little bit more than the bass. So it gives it that separation. And then lastly, we have the Nicky Romero kickstart. Now, sidechaining is a great tool and it's great to learn the fundamentals. However, nothing can beat this quick and easy plugin. Highly recommend. I think it was about £10. I'm not too sure on that. Might have changed. But this is a quick and easy way just to sidechain something instantaneously. So all I've done to this violin is add the second reverb bus to about halfway and then increase the room reverb, which is a smaller one, to about 9 o'clock, so only like a quarter of the way. So based on my music theory knowledge, I used the Mixolydian mode, which is basically a scale within a scale. And because that mode sounds quite kind of ethnic Egyptian, kind of Asian feel to it, I thought that would suit it best. So I had a little play around and ended up coming up with this. With a lot of my tracks, I kind of, to keep it stop being samey, I keep movement and change up kind of themes and instrumentation. Again, I didn't do too much as the instruments kind of sound like themselves already. Again, I just increase the reverb about halfway-ish, give or take. You don't need to be precise. And then increase the bus one, which is the room reverb, to about a quarter of the way as well. And this is what it sounds like. because it is a live instrument, I didn't want it to sound too fake, so by kind of adding some movement and some like humanness to it, I thought this could help out. I'm then using the same instrument, just copied and pasted over, and then I've just layered that over with a slower melody on top of the previous one. I then decided to just switch the whole thing up, have a little bridge kind of breakaway, something slightly different than what we'd previously done. So with using the violin that we used before, I decided to use the mixed Lydian mode yet again, and then came up with a different style riff. With this middle bit, I filtered everything out just to make room for the sample that I'd later put in.
When you feel life out of focus, always return to basic of life.
What, praying?
Breathing. No breathe, no life.
So with the life bit at the end, I've put a delay on there. Just again, it's Logic's own tape delay. Messed around with some of the settings.
When you feel life out of focus, always return to basic of life.
What, praying?
Breathing. No breathe, no life.
With this track, I knew what I wanted to achieve, which was use music theory in a way I hadn't used before in regards to electronic dance music. And I think I did that pretty decently, using the ethnic themes and kind of creating a kind of wise man sort of feel. I came up with the wise man name because of Mr. Miyagi with the Karate Kid. So everything was kind of very simple, and anyone can use, these instruments and make their own track because it all is available in Logic Pro. So if you do want to check out the full track, it's available on all digital music platforms. Hopefully it gave some insight into kind of beat making if you are kind of new to that, or if you want to get into it. So thanks for watching, and peace.